My dad cut me out of his will until I exposed his secret second family. When my mom died, I was only 17. My dad, Richard, was all I had left. At least that's what I thought. We were never close. But after mom's funeral, he became distant in ways I couldn't explain. Long business trips, late nights, secret phone calls. I told myself it was grief. A year later, I left for college, funded mostly by scholarships and part-time jobs. My dad barely contributed, saying he was having financial struggles. But every time I came home, there were new things. Expensive watches, luxury cars, new suits. He claimed work bonuses, but I started to wonder. Then, during my senior year, I got a call from his lawyer. My dad had updated his will. I assumed it was standard estate stuff, but when I asked to review it, the lawyer hesitated. "You're no longer listed as a beneficiary," he said flatly. My heart dropped. "What? I'm his only child." The lawyer shifted uncomfortably. "Your father has made other arrangements." I drove straight to my dad's house. He wasn't even surprised to see me. "Why?" I demanded. "I'm your daughter." His face stayed cold. "Things change. Emily, you're an adult. I've helped you enough." Helped? I was drowning in student loans while he was living like royalty. I left in tears, but something inside me snapped. If he was cutting me off, I needed to know why. I started digging. Old tax records, property filings, anything I could find online. That's when I noticed a second property listed under his name in a different city 2 hours away, a house I'd never heard of. I drove there on a Saturday afternoon. The neighborhood was suburban, cookie-cutter homes with kids playing in the yards. And then I saw it. My father, mowing the lawn like a perfect family man. But it wasn't just him. A woman stepped out onto the porch holding a toddler, and next to her stood a boy who looked about 10, with my father's exact eyes. My stomach flipped. He saw me and froze. The woman looked confused. "Who's that?" she asked. "No one," my father stammered. "Just someone from work." I drove off before I exploded. Over the next few weeks, I hired a private investigator. The truth was even worse than I imagined. My dad had been living a double life for over 12 years. He married this woman, Susan, in another state using his middle name to avoid legal flags. He had 2 children with her. That's where all the money went. That's why he cut me out. I gathered everything. Marriage certificates, birth records, photos, financial statements. Then I went back to his lawyer. "You might want to take a second look at my father's will," I said, dropping the folder on his desk. His face went pale, flipping through the documents. "He never disclosed any of this," he whispered. "Bigamy is a serious crime." I gave him a choice. Either revise the will and ensure I received my rightful inheritance, or I'd turn everything over to the authorities, his company, and Susan. The lawyer called my father immediately. An hour later, my dad showed up, furious. "You had no right to dig into my personal life," he shouted. I stared him down. "You had no right to abandon me while playing house with your secret family." He threatened to fight me legally, but he knew he was cornered. Fraud, tax evasion, bigamy. His entire empire would collapse if this went public. 3 days later, the will was amended. I received my full inheritance, including back payments from a trust my mother had originally set up for me that he illegally redirected. But that wasn't the end. Susan eventually found out anyway. Whether from whispers or guilty confessions, I'll never know. She filed for divorce, took half his assets, and exposed him to his company. My father lost everything. His job, his reputation, both families. I used my inheritance to pay off my student loans, buy a house, and start my own business. Sometimes I wonder if he ever regrets what he did. But the truth is, some betrayals leave scars you don't want healed.